Did they say what that was gonna be?
No.
So
We're waiting on him to send me for the permit. All we got now is a lot spot.
Okay. That's all I'm saying is there other things that could be said that would still be promoting the community without saying the words River Oaks?
Well, I think we need not to say promoting the community, I think we need to list the public entities and subdivisions that are, to which that exception applies. So you could say the River District, the City of River Oaks, and Carolina Beach.
That's right. We don't care about those dragons, we care about the lions around here.
I keep saying Carolina, that's out of my head.
Okay.
Well, what about the River District? Are we technically in that?
Well, I guess there's some that hope that some of that will come this way. I don't know.
I don't want to send them to the River District.
It would have to be a district that's located in the city, so, yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like to me that promoting the city and,
the CIS day.
yeah,
And see,
And we'll delete number 5.
right, we'll add these exceptions, so that there's some more flexibility.
And we'll leave it at 20% on symbols.
Yeah.
Boy, y'all are good.
so does that mean somebody give us an hour, and that'll give us an hour?
Now, to adopt this ordinance with the revisions,
Yeah.
You can do that, so you don't have to bring it back.
so I don't have to bring it back.
Make a motion to pass ordinance 1328, 2021, with the noted exceptions of Castleberry and the city, CHS,
And text and symbols to remain the same.
text and symbols to remain the same.
Yes, second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Discussion or action on substandard property at 5901 Black Oak Lane. Has everybody seen the photo that was passed around? Who was addressing this, other than we see a nice level photo? Is that you, or Steve's not on, is he? Steve?
No, Steve's not on.
Second.
He's wanting to sign it off, that they've, completed the permit.
He gave me his report, so on his report, on 5901, he says it has been demoed, has not been funneled out. All debris is removed and it is a mobile lot now. So the inspector's saying it's ready to be funneled out, and that's what he's wanting to do.
Okay, what about the fines that we levied?
They'll be levied against the property and when it
Well,
sells.
we just...
Yeah, they'll go to municipal court with that, they'll have to set them for court.
Okay.
Yeah.
We wrote 4 of them before we started getting
Do
compliant.
we wanna bother chasing them, or do we wanna...
No, they're saying that it'll just be a lien on the property, and if the property ever sells, that will be paid before they get paid.
Well, it's just a ticket. It's just a
It
municipal
won't be a
ticket.
lien because it's a
Okay.
homestead.
Yeah, it's a homestead, we can't lien it.
So then that's what you're talking about, so whether, the way you wanna spend time.
Yeah, I don't want, do we need to just let it go and glad it's
Bond, maybe too
What
much.
was that?
I would say that's letting that go somewhere else.
Tickets have to go through.
Yeah, they have to go through.
Okay,
That's
Not
not
our issue, they have to go through.
okay.
all right.
What's the cumulative about? I believe it was 500 a day, and she wrote it for at least
4 days.
4 or 5 days.
Is it what, do we think it caused action?
Sure,
Sure we did.
absolutely.
Okay.
Caused more action from the contractor, I believe.
They still waited around about 2 days, and then all of a sudden they started moving. I don't know how quick they
They
waited.
ticket every day, yeah.
Yeah.
And once the house,
Keep in mind, your prosecutor has prosecutorial discretion. I mean, he could plea and bar those. I mean, he'll listen to your code enforcement officer and if I know Craig, and he will listen to your code enforcement officer and take her recommendation as to what to do with the fines, just because the tickets there are fine of $500 a piece, that doesn't mean a judge might lower that or whatever. But right now, it's in the hands of the court, not the city council.
Well, I think that might send a message to future people in that situation.
Well, the point they put us through.
We appreciate all that work. Is
But
there
at
any
this
other?
point, we'll issue a finals that will release a substandard because there's nothing there to make it substandard.
So we don't make an action on that, right? Isn't that just him?
No, the council don't, but we will as staff.
Okay.
And that's what he's reporting to staff, he's at that point.
Okay. Let him know we appreciate all his work including that one.
Thank you.
13,
Discussion or action on approving a policy to require screening, testing, and return to work guidelines when there's a high number of positive COVID-19 cases in the workplace. Marvin?
This is the policy that Kara, the city attorney's office drafted for us, that, we run into what we did here a while back, where we had more than 50% of our office staff out, that puts in the mandate for the temperature testing every day, and also, it also causes where we can send them for a COVID test, because it's impacting other employees. The difference in that is because of the quarantine policy, that if they do eventually go get tested and get on quarantine, then they get paid under the quarantine policy. Council was somewhat concerned about that, feeling like they had violated an order of the city and of their supervisor, and then they're getting rewarded by getting the quarantine. Well, actually, you can go on and do the disciplinary action separate to that, but they're still going to end up getting paid if they fall under the quarantine policy.
I thought my only concern was somebody refusing to take the temperature test.
Then they would be made to go, and yes, if they went somewhere, if they're made to go, they're going to have to get tested, and if the test shows that they have COVID, then yes, we will have to pay the quarantine.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
And if
And if they refuse to direct orders, then the city can take disciplinary action on a separate path.
Yeah, it has to be separate, right?
This was brought up at ch02 in one of the discussions from a number of cities that were getting hit both ways. Some were getting sued because they were trying to enforce this, and the lawyers were saying that you're violating my client's constitutional rights. Then if they didn't do it, the other side was suing them because now you're making it unsafe work environment for my wife or spouse or whatever. So they were getting hit either way, and hate to say this, Betsy, but they kept saying, you need to take it back to your city attorney and see what they feel comfortable with, because that's that idea. Which way to go? But it was a big thing that debate went on for some time at the TML risk pool deal. They were talking about they were paying COVID claims of people that have been in the hospital a year.
Well,
You think that's not a big number to write a check for, but
you can put a cap on it. You can't put a cap on it for police and fire, but you can put a cap on it for your other employees if you want. The state has mandated that we cannot put a cap on it for police and fire, but if you wanted to amend the policy that you adopted last time, you could place a cap on it for employees other than police and fire.
And that's what we're doing. Kara's gonna, fix that, and I'm